Peace, you guys. Welcome back to Unshakable. This is actually the Sun edition, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. I'm April Chapman, and y'all, I did not want to miss an opportunity to talk about what recently happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. By now, the news is old that someone, a crazy, deranged, ignorant, crazy, evil Democrat, tried to assassinate the president and probably members of his cabinet as well, most recently. But now that some days have passed, we have more information about the identity of the individual who's responsible for this chaotic attack. And what I want to do is I want to talk about the worldview that undergirds the mindset of the individuals who've consistently proven themselves to have a wanton disregard for life. And these individuals are completely unable to disagree. They're unable to disagree. And the reason why their worldview is rooted in violence is because their worldview is morally bankrupt. So what do we know about the wannabe assassin who attempted to delete our president, Donald J. Trump?
Today, the man accused of storming the White House Correspondents' Dinner armed with 2 guns and a knife set to make his first court appearance and face federal charges. Law enforcement identifying the suspect as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen. President Trump, Vice President Vance, multiple cabinet members, and thousands of journalists inside the ballroom at the Washington Hilton Saturday night when police say Allen ran past a security checkpoint. The president posting this video of the alleged suspect. Police say Allen shot a security service member before agents took him into custody. Trump and the First Lady on stage when gunshots rang out, soon rushed out by Secret Service. Authorities say Allen booked a room at the hotel and traveled by train from California. Saturday night, they believe Allen used a stairwell out of public view to get close to that ballroom downstairs. And in a message sent to his family just before the attack, sources say Allen described himself as a, quote, friendly federal assassin, describing grievances against the Trump administration, saying he planned to target officials, prioritizing them from highest ranking to lowest.
We are actively combing through all the evidence that we've collected and going to continue to do that today and in the coming days and weeks.
Well, we definitely know he's a leftist. We know that he was radicalized. We know that based on the manifesto that he left, that he believed that Donald Trump was such an imminent threat to the existence of this country that he could no longer sit idly by and be silent. He felt that he needed to take action. Now, mind you, I am a conservative. And I absolutely despise Democrats, leftists, progressives, whatever new school name that they are going by. I don't hate people, but I do hate wickedness. Like, I hate the things that the Lord hates. And I absolutely despise every false way. And because I believe that Democrat policies are fueled and built on a foundation of a godless, anti-God, anti-Christian worldview, I am compelled to hate the ideology. But notice how there's only one side of this inflammatory rhetoric. There's only the inflammatory rhetoric is only coming from one side in particular, and it's coming from the left. Now, I want you to watch this montage of Democrats.
No. We absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety.
She's nodding along. Pick up a weapon.
Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" Catch!
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
And shut down the Senate! We are at We're in a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
You can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high.
No. With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
We're going to fight it in the streets. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist! You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store.
What about a gasoline station?
Okay, yeah. Get out and you stand in the crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He's not going to have a third term. He may not finish this term.
Yes, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. Just saying.
All they know how to do by using their words, notice how they're always accusing you that words are violence, right? In their worldview, words are violence. Yet somehow they have this cognitive dissonant disconnect between the inflammatory nature of their words. They somehow disconnected from the fact that all of these individuals who have attempted to either assassinate the president or terrorize ICE agents or just otherwise inflict harm to those that they politically disagree with, notice how they never connect their words to the actions of the people on their side. The only event that they can say is representative of right-wing violence is January 6th. That's all they have. One event which was highly propagandized and yes, did end in some violence, but it was violence by a Capitol police officer who actually shot someone. Notice how we never attempt to defend the actions of Ashley Babbitt. At least I don't see a lot of conservatives attempting to defend what she did. But notice how the left, Democrats, can never disavow any and everything that their side does. Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. These idiots are celebrating. Another attempt to assassinate Donald Trump. These idiots are celebrating and don't see the connection between their words and the actions from people on their side. So what I wanted to do was briefly talk about how this would-be assassin is an educator. Y'all, these are the types of people that are teaching your children. They are radicalized. They have been fully indoctrinated in Marxist thought. They believe that the government is God. See, in the Marxist worldview, they have to dethrone God. So if you've dethroned God, that means you have no objective standard to appeal to as to why life is valuable and why you don't get the right to just delete or take somebody else's life. But because their worldview is void of God, they don't see anything wrong with killing political opponents. In fact, they've been cited as saying that, like, there are students at Harvard. There was a survey done of Harvard students where it was over 30% of them that believed that, enacting violence on your political opponents is sometimes absolutely necessary for democracy's sake. This is what they believe. This is what they're teaching your children. This guy looked normal. He looked like a well-adjusted human, but this man was completely radicalized and thought that he was going to be the one hero to save democracy from Donald Trump. The mainstream media, they're complicit in this. If you consistently call the president a Nazi and a fascist, mind you, fascist behavior and Nazi-like behavior is only coming from the left, but the left is very good at projection. If you listen to any and everything that Hakeem Jeffries says, he is projecting everything that they are and everything that they do. He projects that on to the right, and the media doesn't push back. The media never pushes back or ask them, can you give some specific examples? Can you contextualize what happened with Alex Preddy and Nicole Good? Yes, those two Americans were, they did lose their life at the hands of ICE and Border Patrol, but no one ever pushes the envelope to say why. They're okay. The left is okay with putting ICE and Border Patrol agents in harm's way by saying they should take their mask off, but they never explain that the reason why they want them unmasked is because they want to be able to identify these Americans so that they can harass them and, if necessary, kill them, because they believe what ICE and Border Patrol is doing is unjust. And that you have the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries. I heard him bring up Alex Preddy and Nicole Good, and they use that as the example as if that is happening every single week, that Americans are being slaughtered in the street by ICE, and that is not true.
Leader, I know you said you stand by your comments. At the same time, you have been the subject of threats as well. So with respect to this comment about maximum warfare, even if it's about redistricting, why not tone down the language here in this moment?
I think that what's interesting to me, as you pointed out, is that the so-called White House press secretary, who's a disgrace, she's a stone cold liar, had the nerve to stand up there and read talking points being critical of statements all taken out of context that Democrats have made, and didn't have a word to say about anything that MAGA extremists have said or done, including providing aid and comfort to violent insurrectionists here at this Capitol on January 6th who brutally beat police officers.
Those two brain-dead rejects made stupid decisions by obstructing a lawful federal action, and as a result, they lost their life because of their actions, because they were trying to be agitators and they were trying to be vigilantes in the name of progress. So my overarching point in this video is that the inflammatory rhetoric that we see coming from the left, the inflammatory rhetoric is only coming from the left. Where are all of the right-wing white supremacist domestic terrorists? Where are they? Because if they existed, we wouldn't have organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center out here paying the KKK and the white supremacists to incite violence. If it was under every nook and cranny, we would have an endless supply of it, but we don't. But I can tell you what we do have an endless supply of: left-wing violence. And it's not just against politicians. These people target civilians, Black conservatives, any celebrities that dare to have an independent thought. They will terrorize you. They will bully you, shame you, attempt to impact your ability to earn a living or income. This is who these people are. And y'all wonder why this nation is so divided? Let me explain it like this. Our Constitution was designed for a moral and a religious people. It is wholly inadequate for any other. So if our Constitution is designed for moral and religious people, and you have an increasingly amount of Americans who have disavowed religion, they don't believe in God, they demonstrate with their actions that they have no morals because they will kill babies and politicians and political opponents in order to fuel their cause. Are you shocked that the country is divided? Are you shocked that the country is probably on the verge of a civil war? You shouldn't be. Benjamin Franklin, when asked, what kind of form of government did you guys manage to put together for us? And he said, a constitutional republic, if you can keep it. We're about to approach our 250th year anniversary of the formation of this great nation as a constitutional republic. And this is the first time in my life I've actually felt like we may not be able to keep it. I don't know if this can be preserved. I feel like we are on the verge of a civil war fighting over whether America is going to be a free nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, or if we are going to be a communistic, Marxist, socialistic conglomerate of states that are perpetually fighting against itself because we have these enemies that have risen up within who want to take it over and destroy us from the inside out. That is the only way America falls, not because some foreign entity is going to fire a shot. America is going to fall because we are ignorant of who we are as a nation. We don't understand what it means to be free. We are willingly subjecting ourselves under the bondage of tyranny and slavery, thinking that it's compassion, thinking that it's freedom, but it's not. Communism always ends in bloodshed. Marxist thought always is its oppressor versus the oppressed. It has to thrive when one group is against the other. And this is the first time in my life, I still can't believe at the White House Correspondents' Dinner that this dude had the nerve to say, I can't believe it was this easy. What is Secret Service doing if I was able to just get in? But the thing is, he wasn't successful. He's going to spend a long time in prison to think about what he did. But just think about, he is one of many. There are so many more where he came from. He is not alone. There's so many more where he has come from. So I don't really have a lot to say about this. I'm traveling with the fam, and I had to find time to cover this because it's been marinating in the news cycle for the past couple of days. And I wanted to give some time for it to come out, for us to learn more information about who this individual is, what was the worldview that fueled his outrage. And my question to you guys is, are you shocked? Because I'm not. These people are evil. They are driven with bloodthirst. Satan has, we already know Satan is the god of this world, but this is a war against God, because say what you want, the more I learn about this nation's founding and the more I read so many of documents of old, I realize that this is the only nation on the face of the planet that was formed based on the providence of God, with a fundamental understanding of these things called inalienable rights, meaning government can't give you these rights. They come from God. But if you don't acknowledge God at all, and forget just submitting to him, but if you can't even acknowledge the sovereign God of the universe, then you're going to struggle to understand the beauty and the glory of a nation such as America. You will be so ungrateful, and you won't have a spirit of gratitude because you won't really understand the genius of God's sovereignty and his providence and how he worked through our founders to finally form a government where there's no king over us, there is no sovereign over us, that our rights and our freedoms and our liberties, you can't even take them away because God gave them to you. It's because we just don't understand some of these basic fundamental truths. So I'm curious to know, what is it that you guys think? Do you agree with me that the left has been radicalized because of the influence of mainstream media, the influence of Hollywood, the influence of the educational institutions? Like almost every institution in this nation has been captured by Marxist thought. And as a result, it is the prevailing narrative that captures the hearts and minds of people who have already suppressed the truth about God and their unrighteousness. And so they become emboldened and deceived to carry out these acts of violence and wickedness. If you believe that, leave me your thoughts. I want to stimulate some conversation about that. What do you believe is fueling it? And then what do you suggest we do to counteract it? Do you believe that platforms like this and us continuing to elevate our voices and speak the truth no matter what the cost, do you believe that's going to have any effect at all? Or what's the other question I want to ask? Do you think we'll be able to hold on to our constitutional republic, or is this the beginning of the end for us? Whatever it is that you guys think, I want you to leave me your comments down in the box below. And until next time, you guys, stand firm, stay bold, and above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.